Good afternoon and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. We're certainly glad to have you. And you can see our interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And today we have with us Miss Gail Fowler, and she is the owner of Nickel Row Antiques.
That is true.
So thank you very much, Miss Gail, for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you have a lovely place here. This is my first time here, and I really enjoy what I see. It's really pretty.
Great. It won't be your last time here then.
No. It's really pretty. I'll have to get my wife to come up here.
Good.
Let me ask you a few questions, little background questions that people may or may not know. Is first of all, how did you get involved in antiques? Is it something you've always liked, or just something that kind of come around? Or
I would say it is something that's always interested me. But we had never done anything like this before moving to Pikeville, but we wanted to do a little bit of a change of pace, and it seemed like a really fun opportunity, and I had certainly acquired a lot of things that I was ready to sell, and that's really how it all began.
And I think a lot of people too, you're talking about acquiring things that you're ready to sell, a lot of people don't realize sometimes the things they have, the value.
That is true, absolutely.
Because I know I've known people, I personally have known people that have thrown away things. I think, you threw that away? I thought, oh no.
I know. That's tragic. In my world, that's a tragedy.
Yeah, and well, how long have y'all been in this business? You said since you've been here in Pikeville, so how long
Right.
has that
Well,
been?
that was our first business. When we came to Pikeville, we opened up Coffee Cup Antiques, and that was just down the block.
Uh-huh.
And that was really fun and a great success. But like I said, it's not anything we'd ever done before. So we learned as we went along. And it grew, and we had more opportunities. And when we started Coffee Cup Antiques, we didn't have any vendors or anything, but we saw that there was really a need.
Uh-huh.
There's so many people that would come to us and say, I have this and I have that, and my children aren't interested in it, and we need to move, or we need to downsize. There's a multitude of reasons. And they would sell us things. So eventually we realized there was a need for an actual mall that we could have vendors participate in. And that's what led to us opening this building here as Nickel Row Antique Mall. And that has been just more fun than I could have imagined. It honestly has.
Well, good, because I know, having the vendors, you get more people involved, and then and they actually see the worth of their stuff that they didn't realize was as had worth in it.
That is so true, absolutely. And it's just a wonderful feeling to have so many people be a part of it, and we all take ownership in it. And it's my privilege to be here selling it.
Well, how many right now? How many people do you have involved here?
I believe we're right around between 15 and 17 different vendors.
Oh, well, that's a good number.
It definitely is. It's a lot to keep track of sometimes, but it's a pleasure.
Well, now, if someone wants to come here and tour the store, what are your hours and your days of operation?
We are open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. now because of the fall hours, and it gets dark sooner and such.
Right. So, and your vendors, do they come in and here? Do they come here and just? I don't want to use the term stand around, but they come around and.
Oh, they come in continually. That's part of the excitement of everything. They come in and they refresh their spaces. They bring in new products and they change things around on a daily basis. Every day we're open, there is something new in this store. And I tell customers that all the time. And I think sometimes they think I'm exaggerating, but it is the absolute truth. People are coming in here that have their spaces, and they're always, because they're excited. They have new things and they bring them out. And a lot of the vendors in here, one of the comments we get continually is that the prices are so good. And the thing is, I say, it's not that the vendors don't know the worth of their things, but they don't care to sell it for that much. They are catering to our local people, and it just works out beautifully. And they all see a lot of success, so much so that we always have a waiting list for more vendors.
Oh, that's nice.
It's nice, and it's also a little upsetting because I wish we had so much more space.
Well, do your customers, do they come just from this area, or they come from afar off?
Oh, from all over. We have many locals that shop with us, and I'm always tickled to death about that because I love that people are supporting their local businesses, because that's the only way we can all make it. That's the only, we need everybody's support. And my husband and I, we work hard to go to every restaurant in Pikeville, every gas station, drugstore, every business. We are all over the place because we believe in our community. But we also have a lot of shoppers that come from Chattanooga, Cookeville, Crossville, all the time. There's a lot of different, Dunlap, a lot of different visitors, and as well as people that come to Fall Creek Falls, and they go camping, and then they invariably end up here in town doing all kinds of things, and they'll come into the store.
But antiquing is kind of almost a thing of the past, isn't it? I mean, it used to be more popular, but now that you see fewer and fewer antique stores.
Well, I don't know how that goes. I mean, I know I hear from a lot of people that really enjoy it. And the thing is, in this shop, everything is not just an antique. There's a lot of giftware. There's a lot of things that aren't, decades and decades old.
Right.
So there's a nice mix.
Well, I just noticed just some of the things would just be nice, just shelf items for decoration.
Absolutely.
They're not
yes.
like you said, they're not necessarily an antique, years
Right.
and years old. They're just be a nice decoration for someone that's looking for something.
Yes, and you know what is one of the really wonderful things, and I realize it kind of fills a need, but you have people walk through and they reminisce, and they'll say, my grandma had this, or my aunt had this, and when we would go to her house, we used this or whatever, and that's really an important thing. They might not even buy anything, but they have really enjoyed themselves and really taken an important look back in time.
Well, that's nice. And do y'all, when you and your husband travel or go out of town, do y'all take your trailer along with you?
So you almost can't help it, because we are so interested in everything, and so that's kind of like the business side of this. But we really enjoy going everywhere. We go to different little towns and we see how they do things, and basically what that does for us is it reinvigorates us, and we come back with new ideas on how to present things and just new ways to do things.
Well, I know probably a lot of things maybe are no longer, well, many antiques are no longer made, of course, but are other items that are antiques, but people think, well, they're no longer around. I haven't seen that in a while. They just need to hunt, don't they?
Absolutely. Yes, and that's part of the fun. The hunt is part of the fun.
Well, do y'all have what am I trying to say? What about, one thing, what about the 127 sale? Did that bring in a lot of customers?
It does. And, sometimes it'll bring in a lot of dealers, and they really appreciate what we have, and a lot of times they will go shopping here also. Yeah. So it's interesting because you have people from all over the country that come to that. So.
Well, I've known of some in the past from 127 shoppers. I know of some that have gone from Dunlap area, come and traveled up the sale, bought a bunch of stuff, then took it back to their spot in Dunlap and sold it.
Well, the thing that we all feel about that is if we're getting the price that we want on the items, God bless them. Do whatever you want with it. Enjoy it, keep it, give it to people, sell it. It's absolutely theirs once they leave the store.
And I also saw your husband show me, just opened the door for his coffee. You see
that? Yes, that's Coffee Cup Antiques.
Yeah,
that's the main. And
he showed me. I just glanced in, but there's a lot of stuff in there.
My goodness, that is a treasure trove. It really is. We have 2 antique malls here. This one being a vendor's mall. That one is. We have another vendor that is in that mall, but mostly that is our things.
Well, do y'all advertise a lot, or you just?
We do. We have advertising in some of the major publications and such.
And that brings people from other areas.
It does. And we have signage that we post in different places, and so people will see that. And then word of mouth is always wonderful. That's great.
Yeah, because it's like I said, this is the first time I've been in here, and just walking in, I like it.
Oh, that's great. That's
You know,
great. A lot of people say things like that. They'll walk in and they'll feel at peace once they come inside the store, and that is an extremely important thing to me. I want them to just feel good and comfortable and at home.
Well, I'm sure they do, because I can look around and see things that I used to see when I was growing up, and I think, man,
Yeah,
it brings back a lot of old memories.
that's it. You sound like my customers.
Are there any certain items that you look for when you go out and look for items, or you just see something that appeals to you and just get it?
Yes, we certainly are always looking for one-of-a-kind things, but you're right. You do get to know what your customers are looking for. But sometimes the things we have will just appeal to that one person.
Uh-huh.
And I've actually said that to people. They'll come up with an item, and I'll look at them and I'll say, so it was you. That's why this is here. It's been waiting for you.
Yeah.
And they love that because it's true. That's what happened.
Well, if a customer says, hey, I'm looking for this, but I haven't been able to find it, do y'all try to look for that when you go out?
Well, yes. Sometimes they'll ask for help coming into the store, and they'll say, do you have any of these items? And I'll say, well, I know that we have, or if I know where it is, I'll lead them to it. But sometimes, you see, the vendors come in so often, and the products that they bring in are so varied that I could say that I know what's in here, but I would be lying because it's constantly updating. So there are things I've tried to help customers find, and then I'll look and I'll say, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize we had this right here. So it's a lot of fun.
So it's really an adventure every day, isn't it?
That it is. It is definitely always an adventure, from the people that walk in and the things that they're looking for. And then to me, a big part of the adventure, I'll be up at the desk and I'll see somebody bringing something up, and it's really so much fun to see what item was it that caught their fancy, or what is the thing that they are buying for that relative or that friend. And you just would never guess sometimes what people are interested in and what they find in here.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things I look around and might be, I like your Christmas items. I like Christmas,
Yes.
and I like to see different decorations, and I've seen some everywhere. And I say, well, that's cute. That I like that. And
Right.
That
Yes.
would look good over here.
Yes, that's true. And when it comes to Christmas, some of those vintage items are just a treasure. So that's always a nice thing too. We always have a Christmas table set up, and of course now the vendors are starting to bring in Christmas into their spaces too. So.
Well, that'll tie in with your Christmas lights.
Yes. Oh, we're
that's
excited
gonna go
about that. That's going to be a great event for the whole community. We're very excited.
I'm sure that'll be a great event for this community.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. Well, that's that. Now I know. Sydney, you said, where originally are you and your husband from? You said when you moved here. So.
Yes. Well, actually, my husband is from Dayton.
Oh, really?
So he's a local boy. He did not grow up here. He grew up in Florida, but he came back. I like to say that he came back to his roots, and I came right along with him. But I was born and raised in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Many ages ago.
I guess you're glad you're here now, right?
Very much so. Very much so. You should never be ashamed of where you came from. But let's just say I'm very happy to be in Tennessee, and especially in Pikeville.
Well, and being a small area, you get to know a lot of people, and not just from them coming in as customers, but get to know them personally.
Yes, yes, you definitely do. And it is fun when you know a certain customer and the things that they're looking for. And then when you find those things, it's going to make them so happy.
Right, and you may not know exactly what they want, but you know them, know what they do, or know some of their interests, and you say, hey, I've got this.
Yes, absolutely.
And
sometimes they're very unusual things. I have a man that comes in, he and his wife love anything to do with buffaloes. I mean, anything that has a buffalo picture on it, a buffalo book, any objects that are about. So I am constantly looking for that. And if I have things like that, I put them aside until he comes in next.
Oh, yeah.
That's just one example.
Well, and that's just, knowing your customers and helping out. And that helps too. When you look, you say, well, I know some of them would like this.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And I guess when you get started with something like this, it's kind of, in one way, hard to get started in an antique shop because you're not sure how things are going to go.
Oh, yes.
And you may buy a lot of things maybe you like, but no one else likes them. You're not sure.
Yes, I suppose that would be, but eventually in time, everything sells. Everything. The most obscure things. Someone will come in and that is the thing that they look for, they collect. So it's just a matter of time. I look around at things and sometimes I'll think, I'm surprised that hasn't sold yet, and it'll sell within 24 hours.
Well,
it's just amazing.
Well, that's neat. And do y'all, of course, I know you got this furniture set up here, but do y'all deal with furniture as well as other items?
You mean aside from in the stores?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, as far as buying furniture, you mean from different areas? Yes. It's nice to have a nice mix of everything. Some people are never going to look at furniture. They don't need it. But they're going to look for small things, and like you said, things that decorate or, even things that have a purpose other than furniture. But then there are definitely customers that's all they're looking for is furniture. So it's good if you have a mixture of everything.
I know, being from Dunlap, there used to be, I think, about 4 or 5 antique stores down there. And then throughout the years, they just kind of all went by the wayside, except for maybe, I know there's one left for sure. And, when you have so many, but y'all are the only people in town, right?
Well, believe me, besides Miss Lola, she has an antique store
that's
also.
Right, Miss Lola.
So we really have 3 real antique stores here. And people sometimes have said to us, oh, I bet you don't want any more antique stores here to compete with. That is as far from the truth as it could be. We wish the entire street was full of antique stores, because then it becomes a shopping mecca. People come in and they spend time and they enjoy. If they're coming for 1 or 2, believe me, they're going to be coming for, if there's 5 or 6, they'll be delighted and they'll spend the entire day here. So that's what we love. And every antique store is not going to have the same things.
Right.
They're all going to be different. They're going to showcase things differently. They're going to have just a different setup, period. So we wish that more people would do that. We constantly talk to people about moving to Pikeville, and that this would be a wonderful idea for them to start something like this.
Right, because, I noticed in other antique stores, like we mentioned furniture, some do specialize in antique furniture. Because that's what some people are looking for. But then
some people are.
Others are more into silverware and china and dinnerware, that type of things. And then just the assortment that you have, just a variety of things, decoration type things.
Well, and the assortment here comes from the fact that we have all these different people. From booth to booth and shelf to shelf, it's different vendors. So they all have their own unique perspectives of what they like, what they collect, what they want to present to their customers. So that's why it's really different when you come in here.
Right, and with different vendors, as you pointed out, people like all of us like different things.
Yes.
And so someone may have been looking for something but didn't know where to find it, and then they say, oh, I didn't know you had that.
Yes, that's true. Sometimes they'll come in and I'll say, do you have this? And if I do know of it, I will take them to it if I know it. But sometimes I am not aware. Somebody came in the other day for a McCoy cookie jar, and I said, well, now I know we've had them. I don't know if we have any right now. But I said, you're going to have to go on a treasure hunt, because I can't possibly go through the whole store with them, especially if I have other customers here.
Right.
So it's like, you're going to have fun looking, aren't you? So sometimes that happens and that works out.
Well, that's good. That keeps you busy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything we've not talked about that you'd like to talk about or bring up? Or?
Well, I think you've really covered a lot of things. We're just really happy to be here doing what we're doing. This is the second year that Nickel Row Antique Mall has been here. Some people might not know, but we opened a month before the pandemic hit last year.
Really?
And so once that happened, we opened and then we closed. I believe it was 2 weeks later. And we closed for a month. And as soon as our mayor said that it was safe to reopen, that he had gotten the go-ahead, then we started back up again. And we've been going ever since. We take a brief time off in the winter time. And then we start up again in the spring and go right up through Christmas.
Is there a busier time for y'all?
Well, that is really, every week is different. There's no rhyme or reason sometimes. I mean, spring, people are just bursting out. They're excited about the weather and they want to circulate again, and they might have been holed up during the winter time, so they are ready to move. So that's a great time. But then you have summer and you've got a lot of visitors coming through and campers and all. So you've got a lot of people coming then. Fall, of course, is terrific because, you know, it's fall and the leaves and the mountains and people love it. So to answer your question, I couldn't tell you the busy time because within any given week, within any given month, we will have days that we can't even believe how many people come through here. So it varies all the time.
And I know, talking to the mayor recently, they're trying to come up with more events for the city.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, you have more and more events. You have more and more people coming in.
Oh, absolutely.
Throughout the season, not
right.
just one weekend a year.
Sure. Oh, so many people will come in during an event and they'll say, I had no idea that this was here. And I say, well, welcome to the party. Please come back. And they do. And then you have such wonderful people that they come in and they love this place and they bring in, every time they have company, you know, friends come through or such, they're going to bring everybody through. And it's just the nicest thing people can do to support all of us because everybody benefits when somebody, you know, is bringing in company and other people because they've been happy here.
Well, good.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else? Give us your times again and a phone number if they could contact you if that's what you use.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we're open from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m.
Okay.
So.
Great.
Yes.
Remember, you can see us on BTC Fiber YouTube as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18 for this interview. And if you get a chance, come by on one of those days and come see what she has here. I'm sure she'll take you around and show you a few things, and I'm sure you'll enjoy your stay. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.